Hi everyone, and welcome to my crafty kitchen. So today we are going to be making polymer pendants for necklaces. I have a few items here that are necessary for this project. One is polymer clay. Now I have a couple of different colors, and we can do some mixing and matching and making our own colors depending on what you have available. For the polymer clay that I'm using, I just have Sculpey. I did a variety pack. I know in your kits you will have, you may have a different type of clay. Doesn't really matter. The instructions should be generally the same. I also have this is a rolling pin. It's just a small wooden one. You can use a larger one if you have a marble one, if you have just a wooden dowel, doesn't really matter. Just something that's long that you can roll out with your projects. My kit came with these little plastic ones, and they're nice cutting tools and they're nice tools to use, but as far as like the section that you're supposed to roll out on, I don't really like how small it is. So I do prefer a wooden dowel. If you use the dowels that you would be using for cooking or for your kitchen like I do, just make sure that it gets cleaned off really well and right away. This cutting board that I work on, I did not clean it off right away with this polymer clay, and so it's pretty much embedded into my board now. So the other important step to this is that you do clean up quickly and readily. Because if you have any porous surface, this clay will work itself into it, and then it's like nearly impossible to get out. It just becomes a craft board now. Okay, so wooden dowel, clay. The other thing that I have is string, and this should also come into your kit. We'll be using this to tie up our necklaces. If you want to do a two-part necklace, you can do that as well and tie pieces together so you have like a dangly chain. That's up to you. We're just going to do a basic setup of how to make a pendant, how to bake it, and how you would be stringing it up. So I went out into my yard just a couple minutes ago, and I took some leaves. I just took a couple of leaves. It's best when they're fresh and off the tree, because they're a little bit more malleable. So they are able to, they'll give and bend. And you can roll them out. They're a little bit more sturdy. You can try using dried leaves, but what I envision would happen is that you would be rolling the leaf material into your clay. You won't be able to pull it off. You can certainly bake it in there. That's fine. It'll just kind of burn up. But fresh leaves are the best. So I've got a big one. I took a couple of little ones. And then I got some different shapes too off of my crabapple tree. Okay. On one of these trees, I think it's like a maple tree. Pretty sure. That it has these little helicopter things. I thought these might be cool to play with too. These are definitely a part of my childhood, so I thought it might be fun to do some little pendants with them as well. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we've got our pile of fresh leaves. I also have a needle. It's just a ballpoint needle that might help with threading. It's not necessary, but sometimes these little crafting needles, they're not sharp. They have a rounded point to them, and you can thread them through really easily. This might be easy to put our necklace together. Not necessary, but if you have one laying around at your house, it might be helpful to use. Okay. Let's begin. First thing is I'm going to start my oven. There should be instructions on the temperature on your box. If not, you can follow the ones that I'm about to give to you right now. Let's see. Bake on oven-proof glass or metal surface at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes per 1/4 inch of thickness. Boom. All right, so we're going to preheat our oven to 275 degrees. Bake up, down, 275, which is a pretty low temperature. Not much is cooked at 275 except for maybe a roast if you're slow cooking a nice piece of meat, like a roast. The last thing I cooked was water buffalo. Interesting. It was good. Not gonna lie, it was good. It was a little chewy. Anyways, back to the topic. Polymer clay. So you can use this straight color that you have here. I think that's boring. I mean, boring's okay. It is. But for the purpose of this project, I'm going to show you how to marble. If you prefer the color as it is, you were worried, or you just thoroughly like it, keep it. You don't have to change it. You don't. Okay. So I'm just gonna cut myself off a sliver. My tools didn't get cleaned. Make sure you clean your tools. Keep a clean space so you can reuse it. I'm just going to cut off a little chunk here. Brilliant. So, got a little chunk, right? Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. We're going to do a marbling. Cut off a little chunk of white. And I've made some gray. Your kit probably won't come with gray. If you do have black and white, you can mix those up and make gray. I think I'm going to put a little bit of gray. Okay, so I'm just going to now attach it here and here, just onto there, okay? I just have them on there. Then I'm going to mush them, roll them. So it looks like an egg. You can see how I've got that in there now. Squish, fold, fold. I don't know. You just kind of squish and fold. Squish. So you get a good marbling here. Okay, squish, fold, 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 fold. I'm just squishing and folding, squishing it out and folding, squishing it out and folding, squishing it out and folding. I'm gonna roll it. Let's see where we're at here. So you can see it's very muted and marbled. I just like a little bit of marbling, so I've got some different colors in there. And I don't want it to be perfect, so I think I'm gonna leave it as such. I got a little bit of marbling, little different colors. Okay, so I'm just flattening out my little ball, flattening it out, and then we're gonna roll it out to about 1/4 inch. As I roll, see, I'm peeling it up. Okay. Not quite. Almost. And then I might want to like maneuver it here. So I'm gonna roll it out a little bit more. I don't want it too thin. Perfect. And I can just maneuver it so it does fit. This doesn't have to be a perfect circle or anything, but, and I'm going to lightly roll it in here. Let's see if I can't pull this up. you will want to pull up your piece. See? Now I've got my leaf pressed in there. Okay. Now, you're going to take your cutter here. Once you've rolled it out onto it, you see when I pull it up, it is attached. I don't want it too thin. About 1/4 of an inch is good. And I'm just going to cut it off in sections here. And I'm cutting around the leaf. I might have to push that leaf back into the clay if it's kind of popping up to make sure that I'm getting an accurate cut. Try and follow the curves so you have a nice natural cut. Brilliant. Okay, so I've cut out around my leaf, trim up my edges there. I might just flip it on the back here, make sure I don't have any weird straggly things that I don't like. Okay, the next step is we need to get our baking sheet. I just used this cookie tray. Okay, and we're gonna place that on and carefully peel off our leaf very gently, and you'll see that it has left, you can kind of see an impression there. Okay, then take another tool, poke a nice hole through the top, being very careful. Okay. So you got a hole in the top there. Okay, lay it down. It appears that our oven is up to temperature. So I'm just gonna show you how we put this in the oven and cook this as we make some more. So now that our oven is at temperature, it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch, right? I only have 1/4 of an inch of the whole thing. We rolled it out to be 1/4 of an inch, so we just need 15 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer. Alexa, set timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
Perfect. She's going to let me know when that's done. All right. So I'm just going to ball up our scraps here. And then I might want to make another one. I think what I'm going to do is take some of my white, take some of my black, maybe take some of my gray, white, black. Roll it into a ball. If you choose white after working with the color, make sure your hands are clean. I did not. So there's some green tint in here, which I honestly just don't mind. Okay. You can also like twist your colors like this, smash them, then roll them, which will give you a really nice marbled effect. Okay, so let's stick with that one. I'm gonna rotate my board because I've got a lot of green on this side that just got smashed in there. Okay, flatten out your ball. Ooh, this marbling is great. Roll it out, lift it, place it, roll it, lift it, place it, roll it, continue. Decide which side of marbling you like best. I think I really like this side. Roll it out to about a 1/4 inch of thickness. Okay. Lay it out once you feel like the whole thing's gonna fit nicely. Okay, gently roll it. I'm gonna show you another way to create a fastener for your string. So, making sure that this leaf is really stuck on there. Okay, leaf on it. I'm going to cut around, but I'm going to keep a nice chunk around my stem. So maybe I'll just cut around my stem real fast. Be very careful when you're cutting. Okay. Just so you can see. That's about how much away from my stem. See the stem in the middle? So I'm gonna leave a lot of extra. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little loop so we can string it through. Okay. All right. So take your little cutting tool, cut around your leaf. You can pull off any excess. Cool. So I do have these excess, right? I might just roll it up. Okay, I'm gonna cut it in half. And roll it just in the palm of my hand, like cupping my hand here, and I can get a nice ball. What you can do is take your needle, skewer, toothpick, anything, poke a hole all the way through one side. Okay, take it out. Go back through the top, the other end. Poke another hole. See if you can't get it straight. Okay. Work it around, wiggle it in there. Wiggle it, wiggle it. Okay, hole. See it? Now I have a bead. take your other excess, roll in, kind of cupping, like cupping a little bit, you see? That way, if your hands are too flat, what you're gonna do, if I'm rolling it, right? If my hands are too flat, is I have an oblong egg shape, okay? If I cup my hands, I'm kind of, not with a lot of pressure, but what happens is that I move it, work it into a ball. That's what we're going for. So I've got a ball. Okay, this is sort of a ball. Ball, toothpick, needle, whatever you got, skewer, just a stick will do, okay? Push it through. Pull it out, back through the top end. We just want to make sure that that hole is even, okay? All the way through. Move it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. So I have a big hole. Okay, set that to the side. These can be baked, but is this 1/4 of an inch? No. This is approximately an inch. So this is somewhere around an inch. So we're doing what? 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch. So 15 plus 15 is 30, right? That's a 1/2 inch. 30 minutes for 1/2 inch. I would put these in for probably an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. Next, we have this leaf. I'm just gonna kind of make sure everything's pressed in there. We can now take off our leaf very gently because we have these nice lines in there, right? Okay, now with a skewer, with your needle, with a toothpick, you can put it where that stem was on the leaf, like this. And we're gonna round up, push up those edges, okay? Push them up, and we're just gonna make it and roll it together. We're just going to make it a little thicker. We want some strength and durability. So it's kind of round. Okay, then I'm going to take this and put it at the edge of my leaf, or in the middle of that stem, and bend it over. And then I'm going to push. I'm going to push the end of it into my leaf. Okay? So, see? I rolled it together so it's nice and thick. Then I folded it over and I attached it here. Okay? Now I have a little loop there. I want to make sure that that little loop isn't going to shrink too much so I can still thread things through it. So I'm going to take my toothpick, my stick, my needle, and I'm going to put it through there. Now, you can kind of wiggle it around and make it bigger, or other option, you can leave it in there and cook it in the oven, okay? If you have a plastic needle, do not leave it in there. You need wood or metal, okay? The only things that you can put in there. At 275, it's not gonna burn up. It's not gonna start on fire, okay? Any higher, I would worry. So we can leave it in there, and then we can put this on our tray. So I'm going to open up our oven here. Okay, we're gonna open up our oven. We're gonna put our beads on there. We're gonna put our other leaf on there, put it back in, and we're gonna start a second timer. So, Alexa, set second timer for 15 minutes.
Second timer, 15 minutes, starting now.
Our beads are going to take, what, like an hour-ish? So, Alexa, set third timer for an hour.
Third timer, 1 hour, starting now.
Perfect. I'm going to see you guys back in about, it'll be like 20 minutes for me. It should only be a couple seconds for you. So I'll see you when those are out of the oven. All right, welcome back. So I put my polymer clay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Put my polymer clay into the oven for 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch of clay. And what I have is a couple of our leaves here. And then I have a couple of beads, which I think are still in the pan. Yeah, brilliant. So the leaves can, since they were about a 1/4 inch thick, I only put them in for 15 minutes. These beads that we made, right, the round ones, these, since they were much thicker, I had them in the oven for about an hour. So I literally went and shampooed rugs. That's what I did while I waited. So now that we're back, we're gonna take our string and we're gonna string them up. So the first one that we did, you know, I'm looking at it and it's a little thin. So this is gonna be pretty fragile. Oh, I also let these sit and cool for, I wanna say like an hour. Because I was outside shampooing rugs for like 2 hours. So about 15 minutes of cook time, and then so I guess the leaves cooled for approximately 2 hours, right? Because this bead was another hour, and these are pretty cool too. So moral of the story is cook them accordingly, 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch, and give them some time to cool. They're going to be a little bit malleable when they come out of that oven. So you want to set them down on a space and just give them some time to chill so they can harden, right? This one, the first one that I did, is a little less than a 1/4 inch, and it's rather thin. This would be cool I probably am not going to make this into a necklace to wear because I did make it a little too thin. But you can do other things like make little wind chimes, or you can use this type of technique in many different ways. Maybe you want to do a wall hanging where you have multiple of these on like a stick, and maybe you're going to hang it outside so they can like clink off of each other. Whatever you do, that's fine. But because this one's so thin, I probably want to use it as some sort of wall hanging or decoration and not as jewelry, because jewelry takes a lot of, it takes a beating, you know? You don't want something that's way too delicate. But I will show you how to thread this. So if you just poked a hole through your leaf for the necklace, right? Okay. All right. I got like a mess here. We're going to take our piece of string. Okay. So we have our piece of string. What you're going to do is you're going to take it and fold it in half. Okay? Then, with this folded end, you're going to push it through the hole. This is where that needle might come in handy. You can use a skewer. You can use a toothpick. Just use something that might help you feed it through. Now, it's just so thin. Just want to be careful. Okay, so I fed it through here. Right, so I've got my loop and the string down here. I'm going to feed the string through the loop, okay? Through that loop, pull it tight. It broke. So I made this too thin and it broke. That's what I figured was gonna happen. But, okay, that's how you would do it. Now our next one, which we made this thicker one, right? Okay. I'm I'm gonna take my string, feed it through the eye of my needle. If you don't have that, you can just feed it through on its own if you don't have the needle. And I'm gonna pull it through that loop. Like so. So now, I have a little necklace. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm at about the halfway point. And I might wanna put a couple beads on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie a little knot in my string. So, and on the other one. This makes sure that our beads kind of stay in place. Tie another knot on my string. Maybe you can see. Okay, so I've got 2 knots on either side of my leaf there. Then I'm going to string this through, my bead through, and then do it through the other one. You can do this without the needle too. It's just not as easy. You just kind of stick it through. Maybe with like a twisting motion, then you pull it. See, you can do it without the needle. The needle just makes it easier. Okay, like so. Then I'm just gonna tie it in a knot up at top here. Little beads. We have our Polymer Clay nature necklace. All right, you can use this type of technique to do multiple things. Like I said, a wall hanging. Maybe you have a stick and you hang a bunch of them off to make a leafy design. You can make a wind chime or a mobile for your bedroom, or you can go on and make a whole bunch of necklaces. If you do this where you create that little attachment on it, you can do a whole necklace full of leaves, or use you can use cookie cutter shapes and do it the same way. Get creative. All right, happy creating, everyone. See you later.